Hey everybody, if you're wanting to build bulletproof sales confidence, shoot to number one on your team, and break company records all within 30 days, I want to introduce you Giorgio, one of our students who did exactly that. Keep watching and enjoy. All right. Hey, what's going on? I'm Marcus Chan. I have my good friend Giorgio here, who's a student in our program who's been absolutely crushing it. So Giorgio, do you want to introduce yourself and just share a little bit of who you are and what you do?
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Giorgio. I am a business development manager in the cybersecurity space. And yeah, just signed up for the program about a month and a half ago.
I love it. I love it. Now, I think you are. This might be a record for us to do a student success interview this early on, so it's pretty cool. So I'm excited to talk to you more. So now, before you joined our program, over a month and a half ago, what was the challenge or problem you ran into before you joined our program?
So I just made a switch from being a BDR selling to sales and marketing leaders, and I was doing pretty well at my last company. And I joined a cybersecurity company where I was now selling to cyber security folks and legal folks. And the things I was doing in the past were not working. And to be more specific, I booked 0 meetings in my first 2 months at my company as a player coach. And I started to get pretty worried because I had 2 BDRs kind of looking up to me, and they were like, they're probably thinking like, oh my gosh, like my manager, he's not booking meetings. So started to get really worried. And that was kind of what led me to looking into, different coaches, different programs. And now we're here.
Awesome, man. Well, I think I give you major kudos, right? Because you had a realization, which is awesome. And some people never realize it. They're like, oh, let me just kind of ride this out. And then they go 6, 12 months, 18 months. They change jobs, blame the company, go somewhere else. Same cycle over and over. So kudos to you. So, when you started looking at other programs, and coaches, et cetera, why did you choose our program specifically over other programs?
So I was pretty skeptical. I'm going to be pretty honest.
Mm-hmm.
I have invested in myself before and had low to little results in different sorts of things. So I was looking around with a skeptical eye, but I was also in a position where I needed to do something, right? Like I was 2 months into this role with no appointment set. As you know, you can't really get away with that for too long before the company's going to look at you and be like,
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, like, well, what's going on here? So, going into my 3rd month at my company, I was looking at different coaching programs, and I was pretty skeptical and astounded at all the success stories I was seeing that you would post or Christian would post to, this person hit quota going from 0 to 120% and all this crazy stuff. And I was like, at first I was like, there's no way this is real. So out of curiosity, I started looking into your coaching, and just the more success stories I saw, I was like, okay, like this is a pretty good sign. If it's working for this many people, I'm not special.
Yeah.
Like this hopefully can work for me too. And like I said, my back was against the wall. I was really questioning if I wanted to stay in sales or not. I started looking into things like, what would it take to become, a plumber, or like, what would it?
Wow.
Yeah, no, like
that's a big jump, man.
Oh yeah, I started thinking of crazy things. I was like, maybe I could become a dog walker, and I started doing the math on like the hourly rates.
Oh.
So I wanted to make this work, but yeah. So all the success stories that you were posting, and then I was learning about through the process of taking a few calls with a Christian. That's kind of what got me really interested.
Awesome, man. No, I appreciate it. And I'm a firm believer, people should be skeptical. They should do their homework, because the truth is, there's a lot of coaches and trainers out there. Some can carry the bag, have carried the bag and have had success and have trained others. Some are just, I hate to say it, but they're just not that good. So people should be skeptical. That's actually why I share so many freaking testimonials. But on the flip side, people are like, is it real? I'm like, well, you tell me. I'm not gonna force you. You decide your own. So I'm glad you made that leap. So once you got the program, was there anything in particular that really was the most impactful, most effective for you personally?
Yes, 100%. So I pulled the trigger on joining the program. Again, I was like pretty nervous. It's one of the largest investments in myself I've ever made. And the next week, it was the last week of the quarter for us. And we do this thing where everybody flies in and we do a cold calling blitz. So I was like, man, I hope this thing works. So I jump into the platform and I go straight to module 3, which was on prospecting, objection handling, and leaving voicemails that work and actually generate callbacks. So I was like, fingers crossed going into this, call blitz the next week. And just that training alone, if I'm being honest, I haven't really dove into much else of the platform. I just took what was in there: objection handling, how to frame your call, took your advice. You gave me some feedback on how to position myself. And the next week, I was able to set 9 meetings in 1 week, which the second best person on our team set 3. So that was insane. And that was from using one module in 1 week. So yeah.
Amazing. I love it, man. Well, and I give you a lot of kudos, right? Because even though you're like, I only do one module, there's all this other stuff. But part of also what I really appreciate and respect about you, Giorgio, was I think it was like a Tuesday night is when you actually had joined and rolled in the program. And then the next day we had our coaching call. I don't think you had even logged in yet. And you're like, hey, I'm brand new. I need help. And first call, and I gave you some very direct, like, hey, fix this, and we rewrote your script. We did all these things. And then we're tweaking the rest of the week via Telegram. And then you're watching the module. Then boom, then you start taking action. And to me, what I love about that is it shows that you're decisive, you take action, and you're hyper coachable, and you're open to being coached, and you're willing to say, hey, I'm not sure about this. I watched it. I'm not sure. What do you think? And I'm like, cool. Let me adjust a little bit. And that was really, really key. So I give you a lot of kudos too, because not just the material stuff, you played a big part of just taking action, being open-minded.
I appreciate that a lot. I think in the platform, the biggest lesson I learned was it's the skeleton.
Yes.
We're the muscles, right? I love that analogy. So I was taking what you were teaching and adding my twang and adding my muscle to it. And it was absolutely crazy just in 1 week, and that's what I needed. I really needed that. I wasn't, if I went into that call blitz with the team and I booked 0 appointments again, not only would that be a really bad look, but who knows if I would have a job, or who knows what would happen if, who knows how much longer I would have stood in sales. So
right, yeah. Man. I mean, you might be a plumber that's walking dogs for all we know. I was like, oh, wow. So
yeah, trust me, I came up with some crazy stuff when I was questioning if I should be in sales. So.
I've heard people say, maybe I'll go to customer success, maybe I'll go to marketing. Plumber or dog walker. That's awesome, man. That's amazing. Yeah. So, for you, you've been in program for about a month and a half, and you're still in the program, obviously. But for you, obviously, you booked a lot of meetings the following week. But overall, when you kind of reflect back in the 6-7 weeks you've been in the program, what have been the proudest outcomes you've received so far?
So initially, I was like walking with a different swagger. Like you said in the beginning of this call, you're like, man, you just look different. Yeah. I think I was really proud of I set 24 appointments in 1 month. That was, my personal best, but a record at our company. And then after that kind of ego driven, success kind of thing, left, I realized it's pretty cool that I went from questioning if I should be in sales to a month and a half later, really a week later, being like, I could go to any company. I could learn about any product. Doesn't matter what the sale is. I would learn about the competitors, the product, what they do. And within a week, I would be setting, appointments pretty easily, right? Like at this point, I'm on autopilot. This week I've made 40 dials and I've set 2 appointments. So it's the biggest thing for me is now just the confidence. And even my girlfriend says it. She's like, man, you look like a different person, just from where I was to where I'm at now, which is pretty cool. I work for a startup. Worst thing that happens is, most startups fail. Yeah, I'd have to go to another company potentially. This is the backup plan. But I know wherever I go, I'll be fine, which is a really cool feeling. It just gives you a different air of confidence.
I love that because, I'm a firm believer, our outer world is a reflection of our inner world. And it was cool because we got in the video. I'm like, but man, you're looking so you're just looking like, not just you look fresh, obviously, but the energy, the charisma, and your prospects smell that too, right? Yeah. That's just really, they smell it on you. If you don't have that confidence, they'll eat you alive, right? So, yeah, man, I love that. So, That's very, very cool, man. So if there was somebody, that was on the fence, they're watching, they're like, oh, I'm on the fence a little bit about joining the program. What would you tell someone like that?
So I would tell that person I was in the same spot. And like I said, I have invested in things in the past before that have not worked, which is why I was really skeptical about, joining this program initially. Um, I would say obviously do it,
Mhm.
but just to give some context, like I was in a position where I didn't have the money to do this,
Mhm.
and I was really scared because this was like kind of my last Hail Mary shot at
Mhm.
like, should I be in sales? Should I not? So I totally get that feeling of like, it's not cheap, right? You're taking a big investment in yourself.
Mhm.
Again, this was the biggest investment I've ever made in myself, but there's the ROI, like it's tangible and intangible. Like this potentially has saved my sales career,
Mhm.
to be blunt.
Wow.
What's that worth, right? It's definitely worth what I invested in this. But if you're thinking about doing it and this is like, like it was for me, if it's kind of like your last ditch, like I don't know if I should be in sales or not, do this because sales is like golf. It's just like anything else. Like when you suck at it, it's really not fun.
True.
So, making this investment in yourself is only, the success rate here is like what, close to 100%.
Yeah.
Right. So like make the investment, pull the trigger, and then, once you start seeing success after being in the program, you're going to look at sales so much differently. You're going to be a different person, have a different air to you. The person I was a month and a half ago is, I don't know who that person is. So I would say just do it.
Mm.
The obvious answer is do it, but I get that feeling. I initially said no. I was like, I
Mhm.
said no at first, and then I was like, what am I doing? I don't have another option. Like, I'm gonna do this. And thankfully it worked out. So do it
Mm.
is
I
the
love I love that, man. Well, and the thing is, what a lot of people don't realize is like ultimately you're betting on yourself, right? That's what you're doing. Like because I know our program works. I know our coaching works. I know it delivers. But ultimately, people have to bet on themselves. That's what really draws. Like, they need to draw a line and say, "I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to give it my all." And once they do that, the system doesn't fail. The only time the system fails is when they fail themselves, right? So it's like that's how you really, really need to think about this. So I love the brother. Anything else you want to share?
No, I love what you just said. It's really a bet on yourself. If you put in the work and you apply what's in here, you can't fail. Like I trust me, like I was like very skeptical, but you're taking a bet on yourself, like you said. And that's the best bet you can make. That's the best way to increase your own confidence. Other than that, no, I'm just really thankful for this. I don't want to get like too emotional, but I really was in a tough spot before I joined this. I was really not sure of myself. My performance at work was changing who I was as a person. Like I said, it was affecting weird things like my relationships, friendships, my relationship with my girlfriend, just low confidence. On the weekends, I was thinking about my job because I wasn't doing too well. And then come into the week, like Sunday scaries were the worst. But now, like, it's fun. I'm not guessing if something's going to work or not. I know I have the frameworks from you that work, and it's just a different life. Not to sound too cheesy, but
Mm,
yeah, I'm just really thankful that I took the bet on myself and that you put something together that works. So
awesome,
yeah.
brother. No, I appreciate that. I mean, that means a lot to me, right? Because ultimately, I always joke to some people. I'm like, really, our program, it's like I disguise it as a sales program. It's really a life program because once you really excel, your life really does change. You become the version of you that you want to become, not just for yourself, but for other people as well, like your girl and stuff. So, my
Yeah.
man, so glad to have you on here. Super proud of you. Thanks so much for being on.
Thank you for doing this, and thanks for having me on. This is pretty cool. This was one of my goals. So to accomplish this in like a month and a half was awesome. So yeah, looking forward to future successes.
Incredible. So there you have it. If you enjoyed this interview with Giorgio and you're interested in results just like him, make sure to click the link anywhere on this page, book a time with our team, and see if we can help you do the exact same as well. Thank you so much for watching.